First question I have for you is, this quote is from your letter or your article that you wrote called Letter to God. It says, "And for once, I felt I had a savior who touched me and gave my life a meaning." What would you say is your purpose in life?
Uh, at some point, I was a bit confused about what God has destined me to be. But at some point, I got to realize that God wanted me to be an inspiration to other people out there. I feel like I needed to be someone who will serve as a guide to other young people. So for me, my purpose in life is to be able to inspire others to reach for their goals. So whatever I do, I try to make that the first thing that comes first.
You've earned a BSc in Information Technology from Blue Crest. What made you choose such career?
My decision to go to technology field was to be able to solve problems, develop solutions, build softwares, build platforms that can be able to change Liberia from what it is now. Um, I was inspired by some solution I saw by other young people outside of Liberia, and I felt that I could be able to do something that my country will benefit from, that the next generation will benefit from. So for me, I think technology can help to solve a lot of problems ranging from education to business to whatever field we find ourselves in. We just need to know how to use the right technologies to be able to solve these problems. So that's what really inspired me.
Okay. How about your business, Cygic IT Solutions? What inspired the establishment of that?
Okay, now, back then before I could get my associate degree in computer network, um, we saw that people were going to my school graduating and then going to look for jobs. But then there were not many jobs around for people to apply for. So I was like, why can't I just start something that I'll benefit from and others will benefit from? So few of my classmates were like, okay, let's come together and then set up a company where we can be able to, you know, do project money for ourselves and then not just be employees, but we could be employers. So we thought about it, but then it didn't come to fruition at the time until we were opportune to take part in this hackathon. So right after Ebola, this NGO did a survey around things that happened during Ebola because there was a lot of misinformation surrounding Ebola, which made it spread. A lot of people say, okay, it was organized. Some people say, okay, it was planned, so many things. So we realized that misinformation was a problem. So we took part in this hackathon where we were to create a solution to be able to solve misinformation surrounding outbreaks in Africa. So and that's where my team participated in, and then we came as the third winner.
So you mentioned in your interview questionnaire that you wanted to help Liberia with some of our technological problems. So why have you
Of course.
personally taken on that challenge, and why do you feel obligated to be the person finding answers to these things?
So basically, what I've learned over the time, or what is glaring, is that the world we live in, the world had changed, and the world didn't change because of the traditional way of doing things, but the world had changed because of the emergence of information communication technology. Mind you, actually goes across every sector of our knowledge-based economy. For every nation that have made significant progress, they have made significant progress through the integration of information communication technology. So it was based upon this backdrop back then in 2014 when I was still in college doing my undergraduate program. I decided to establish the Liberia Information Technology Students Union, a students organization that is devoted exclusively to the needs of technology education in Liberia. Basically, the institution was established to bring ICT students from various ICT institutions to see how best we can brainstorm and bring solutions to some of the factors we find within our country, ranging from the health sector, where we talk about telemedicine, ranging from the health sector, the financial sector, and every other sector. So through that, we advocated for the involvement of girls into IT. Mind you, in Liberia, we have limited amount of females that find interest because the field that the IT field is only belongs to the male sector. So these are some of the things that encourage us to get into the field to see how best Liberia can get transformed through technology.
How does it feel being the first ever founder of Liberia's first IT student union? Because When, a lot of times when you hear about these student unions like the Linsu, these are things that were founded before some of us were even born. So how does it feel being a living legend to found something that is very much needed in the society?
So I feel excited about it. What mostly brings excitement to me is not about funding the institution, but what brings excitement to me is that seeing people that came from under the institution are making significant impact across Liberia. So there are so many young people that we got then at the time under the root of Lisu. They are making significant progress in Liberia. We now have the former vice president then. He works with WAEC. We have some of our students that we mentor. Some of them are Stella Mentor. We have two persons at Stella Mentor. We have some with the government Liberia through these various ministries. So I feel excited to see people that we mentor, people that we provide internship for on the embryo of the institution are helping to bring progress to the development of Liberia. So that alone brings excitement to me.
Tell us a bit about how your company started and what it took to become Liberia's number one online platform, shopping platform.
Yeah, a lot of people know the story, but it started as a group of young people that was quite determined to make a change in our environment. So I used to be at our campus, which is a co-working innovation space, with some colleagues. During that time, we started, doing research on different problems in our society and looking at different ways we can affect change. So through the conversation, although I was part of the GSL project back then, but through the conversation, we decided, all right, we can launch a specific e-commerce activities, but that will help businesses. But initially, the idea already focused on agriculture, how we can maximize agriculture knowledge and e-commerce. So a few months into our engagement, meeting people about the activity, hoping to get investment. I think about 9 months. You see, for Liberia, it's not like any other country that you just develop products and meet people, you can get them quickly to invest in the idea. So it take
Hmm.
about 9 months. We meet a lot of people, attend a lot of events until luckily we met our co-founder, which is Mr. Hash. We pitched the idea to him, and that was when we gave birth to Easy Market Activity in November of 2019. After the partnership and everything, start launching the business, we then decide to, all right, now we load a lot of problems, a lot of activity, but again, at that point, it wasn't a single most e-commerce activity in the country. So we decided instead of just launching an activity for only agriculture, then move it across various industry. That was where we launched Easy Market. Now having as over the years, I have a lot of small businesses and people even outside Liberia to access products and services in Liberia. That's how Easy Market basically started as a partnership with young people and visionary young leader that joined our team later on.
You work also besides your co-founder position, that is just a title, but your actual job is director of e-commerce. So tell us a bit about that day to day. What does that look like?
But most of the day-to-day activity in Easy Market is what I do. So now my title there is director of e-commerce. In that sense, because our e-commerce is broken down into four different components, so I coordinate our logistic team, our inventory team, marketing team, and also work with corporate relations. Wherein now I'm a boss relate on corporate related entities, right? So basically, it means I oversee all the activities surrounding the company, especially to see how we are innovating new, creating new products, but also
Mhm.
how we're serving our current customer segment and how we're even making logistics efficient. So basically, my work is to make sure everybody else is doing our work efficiently.
So one of the things that many people might not know watching this is that you and I, when we were teenagers, we started rapping, right? We wanted to be rappers. So tell me, and one thing I remember from that is definitely you're a better off rapper than I was, and you had the talent. So what inspired you at that time to get involved into rapping? Specifically, hold on before you answer. Shalom was a Christian rapper. She rapped specifically about the gospel, and she was sharing God's message through music. So she was
Yeah.
specifically into rapping because she was trying to use that as a medium to share the gospel. However, what else inspired you besides that?
So you see, sometimes in church, people don't understand the gospel that well, okay? And sometimes people don't also have the opportunity to come to church. So rap music is something that attracts youth a lot. So I just used what was in the Bible and what God inspired me to like put it in on a song and a rap. And I knew that definitely was going to attract more youth. And at the same time, they will be hearing the gospel.
So would you say that's also a hobby that was fun for you as well?
It was so much fun.
So much
So
fun.
much. But the other thing, I don't know how come IT overcome that.
And that's my next question. How do you transition from rapping to IT, something that involves entertainment, to something that it really has nothing to do with entertainment? It's just straight work. And how did you transition?
So if anyone that knows me, like really knows, I have lots of passions, and some of them don't. They're not
Coincide?
similar. They're like opposite to each other. So like from the time I was little, I always loved gadgets, exploring apps and things like that. So it was my brother that actually he spotted out. He said, "I think you'll be very good at IT." At that time, I didn't even know what IT was. I was like 10. I think 10 or 12. I wrote my dad's name in the TV, and I even found a way to. I had like 300 APKs in the phone that couldn't support 300 apps. So I did like crazy, crazy things, and my brother like, okay, I think you're good. You're gonna be good with IT. And from that time, I loved it so much.
Even more than rap, which is why you don't rap
Even
anymore,
more than
right?
rap, I'm very surprised. Even more than rap.
That's awesome. The biggest elephant in the room right now is a female not being present. Of course, during this series, we did interview one person who was a female, and that's Shalom Masaleh. She is an instructor, computer science instructor at the American School. However, she was the only one that we could get on the show. There are other women in Liberia that are doing IT, but compared to the men, it's very scarce. So let's talk about the elephant in the room about women's involvement into IT. And each of you can just talk briefly about, how that is within your specific line of work, and maybe what are you doing to help change that for the better. And we can start with Mr. Jones.
All right, so you talking about women participation. Okay, so that's a very good question. It's not really that popular, especially for seeing women participation in tech along with business, really tech of entrepreneurship. But a few Liberians female are doing that also, right? I have someone like Hatina Clone, a few Liberian females doing it, but it's very not popular. So it's something that we need a lot of females to do.
So when it comes to female participation within the technology space in Liberia, I think it's very much crucial and it has to be looked at from a more holistic and effective point of view. Now, over the years, we've seen less amount of females actively participating within the tech space in Liberia, and then there are a couple of challenges that they are faced with. Um, like for me, one example, when I started my study BSc study, I had about 10 females in my class. But upon graduation, there were only two, and I realized that they didn't drop not because they don't have fees, but there are a couple of personal issues. There are a couple of, there's a couple of self confidence issues. I think a lot of females lack self confidence. They are moved by the issue of there's a men's field, so they even shy away from it even before they can get to it. I don't think males are pushing the females away. I, I I just think the females are not being confident enough to be able to step into the field.
I think the field of STEM that has to do with science, technology, engineering, mathematics is a field that you barely find women into. And this problem does not only affect Liberia, there's a global issue. So the issue of female finding career path in IT is something that is lacking globally because they feel that the IT field to the male counterpart, not the female. Not that they are not strong enough to acquire people within said profession, but they just feel that okay, this profession is just set aside for men. So I think what we can do, the first thing should be the aspect of awareness
Today, you find most female into nursing. How they got into nursing? Because they got interested to the attire of their friends. What they see in their friends wearing nursing attire and think. How you see so many young people going to banking and finance because they feel that when they go to the bank to pay money, they find out that those bankers they are always needed dressed and they feel that they have all of the money. So one of the things that I think we need to do that has to do with the awareness. That make the people to understand that okay, female find a career path in IT is tend to benefit this.